Alex Eala already putting work in the lab.
Designing kit with Nike. I didn't even know that happened.
That was actually a surprise for me.
And somewhere beneath the white steel beams of Court Philippe Chatrier, the most powerful sportswear company on earth quietly revealed who they believe the future belongs to. Let me set the scene for you. The red clay of Roland Garros had already begun to stain shoes, socks, and expectations. The world's best players were arriving in carefully choreographed luxury. Cameras followed every entrance. Sponsors lined the tunnels. Publicists adjusted jackets. Stylists fixed hair. The French Open was not just a tennis tournament anymore. It was Fashion Week with scoreboards. And yet, among all the global superstars walking through the grounds, one athlete carried more curiosity than anyone else in the women's draw. Not the world number one. Not the defending champion. Not the player with multiple Grand Slam trophies. A 21-year-old Filipina ranked number 37 in the world. Alex Eala arrived at Roland Garros wearing a custom warm-up jacket stitched with the sampaguita, the national flower of the Philippines. White petals embroidered against deep crimson fabric. Delicate. Intentional. Impossible to miss. And within minutes, tennis insiders realized something unsettling. Nike had done something for Alex Eala they had not done for anyone else on the women's tour. Not for Aryna Sabalenka. Not for Naomi Osaka. Not for Madison Keys. Not even for the reigning world number one. Because this was not just a custom outfit. This was a fully branded cultural identity campaign disguised as tennis apparel. And the silence from the WTA establishment said everything. The collection was called In Full Bloom. Not designed in Oregon. Not conceptualized in New York. Designed in Manila. The artist behind it, Georgina Camus, had been commissioned to create something Nike internally described as a love letter to Filipino resilience. The capsule included a shirt, tote bag, cap, and accessories built around a single visual motif. A sampaguita flower blooming from the center of a tennis court. The symbolism was obvious to Filipinos. But to the global sports industry, it represented something much larger. A shift in power. For decades, tennis marketing followed the same formula. European champions. American stars. Carefully polished global faces with neutral branding that could sell everywhere without belonging anywhere. Generic elegance. Generic luxury. Generic aspiration. But Alex Eala was becoming the opposite. Specific. National. Rooted. And Nike was betting hundreds of millions of future dollars that specificity would win. The first signal came almost a year earlier. Wimbledon. July 2025. Center court. Eala walked onto the grass against defending champion Barbara Krejcikova, carrying almost no expectations from the establishment. She was outside the top 50. She had never won a Grand Slam main draw singles match. But viewers noticed something unusual immediately. In her hair sat a tiny white accessory. A sampaguita hair tie. At first, fans thought it was random decoration. Then TNT Sports confirmed the truth. Nike had designed it specifically for her. One flower. One athlete. One message. The Philippine national flower had just appeared on the most famous court in tennis. And the reaction inside Nike headquarters was immediate. Social engagement numbers exploded across Southeast Asia. Filipino fans flooded comment sections. Screenshots spread through group chats from Manila to Toronto to Dubai. For the first time, Nike saw something measurable. Not fandom. Identification. People were not merely supporting Alex Eala. They were seeing themselves in her. That distinction changed everything. 6 weeks later, Nike escalated. The In Full Bloom collection launched through Nike's Philippine retail partner. The drop sold out within hours. Not days. Hours. And the resale market reacted instantly. Fans were not buying performance apparel. They were buying cultural representation. One shirt became a statement. One flower became a flag. And suddenly executives who had spent decades trying to globalize tennis realized something uncomfortable. The future might not belong to athletes who feel universal. It might belong to athletes who feel deeply personal. Then came the moment the sports world could no longer pretend this was temporary. August 2025. Vogue Philippines released its newest cover. Alex Eala stood front and center wearing the in full bloom shirt. Not evening wear. Not luxury couture. A Nike tennis shirt. That decision mattered. Vogue does not place athletes on covers because they might become famous later. Vogue places athletes on covers when they already symbolize something culturally significant. And by putting Eala on the cover wearing nationally coded Nike apparel, the message became impossible to misunderstand. She was no longer being marketed as a tennis prospect. She was being positioned as a Filipino icon. The establishment still hesitated to say it out loud. Nike did not. February 2026. Beaverton, Oregon. Nike headquarters. Photos emerged of Eala touring the campus, meeting executives, designers, and campaign strategists. The official caption posted by Nike was short. Salamat sa pagbisita. Thank you for visiting. Not English. Tagalog. And inside sports marketing circles, that tiny detail triggered massive conversation. Because multinational corporations do not localize language unless they are investing long-term. Nike was no longer testing the Filipino market. They were committing to it. Meanwhile, a strange contradiction was unfolding elsewhere in women's tennis. Reports circulated that Sabalenka herself had privately expressed frustration with Nike's standard issue kits for the 2026 season. Fans online criticized the clay season dresses as repetitive and uninspired. The world number one was wearing the same generic silhouette as everyone else. But Alex Eala? She had custom accessories. A designer collaboration. A named retail collection. Localized branding. A Vogue cover, a headquarters visit, and an entire national identity woven into her apparel. The contrast became impossible to ignore, and Roland Garros became the stage where the imbalance turned public. Fans began arriving at the grounds wearing the in full bloom shirts before Eala had even played a match. Filipino supporters carried sampaguita flowers through the grounds. Social media creators filmed themselves outside Court Philippe Chatrier explaining the symbolism of the flower to international audiences. Even rival fans admitted the atmosphere felt different. Because this was no longer just athlete support. It was cultural participation. Tournament officials reportedly noticed it too. The merchandise numbers attached to Eala's matches were outperforming expectations. Secondary market demand around her sessions surged. Social engagement around her apparel rivaled players ranked far above her. And quietly, behind the scenes, other sponsors started paying attention. Adidas, Asics, Lululemon. Because Nike had discovered something the rest of tennis had overlooked for years. Southeast Asia was not an emerging audience anymore. It was an untapped empire. More than 110 million Filipinos worldwide. A massive diaspora, deep emotional nationalism, and no previous global tennis icon to rally around. Alex Eala was not just entering the market at the right time. She was creating the market. And then came the Rafael Nadal connection. Rafael Nadal had already become deeply associated with Eala through the Rafa Nadal Academy. But in 2026, the symbolism intensified. At the Laureus Awards in Madrid, Eala appeared wearing a modern Filipiniana gown and spoke openly about Nadal's influence. "Anything I can take from Rafa, I'll take with pride." The quote spread instantly. Weeks later, a campaign launched featuring both Nadal and Eala under a shared message: two generations of moving different. That line mattered because Nadal rarely shares commercial space with developing athletes unless he genuinely believes in them. And Nike knew exactly what it was doing by visually linking the greatest clay court player in history with a 21-year-old Filipina before Roland Garros. They were transferring legacy. Not trophies. Not rankings. Identity. Then the draw dropped. First round, Eva Liss. Projected second round, Emma Navarro. Possible third round, Naomi Osaka. Potential fourth round, Aryna Sabalenka. A brutal path. But by then, the actual results almost felt secondary. Because the marketing victory had already happened. The collection sold out. The cover ran. The campaign launched. The headquarters visit happened. Nike had already chosen. And perhaps the strangest part of the entire story was the silence. The WTA barely acknowledged any of it. No major feature pieces. No promotional campaigns centered around the cultural significance. No aggressive positioning of Eala as a centerpiece star despite her exploding popularity. That silence created another question nobody wanted to answer publicly. Was the establishment uncomfortable with how fast this was happening? Because Alex Eala was not rising through the traditional pathways of tennis celebrity. She was bypassing them. Usually, players become global stars after multiple Grand Slam titles. Eala was becoming one before winning a slam. Usually, brands wait for rankings validation. Nike moved first. Usually, athletes adapt themselves to fit global marketing. Eala made the global marketing adapt to her. And now the entire industry was watching to see if performance would catch up to momentum. 5 days before Paris, Eala lost in Strasbourg. A disappointing defeat. Questions returned instantly. Critics wondered whether the hype had outrun the player. Could she actually carry this weight? Could she justify the investment? Could a 21-year-old ranked 37 survive being treated like a future icon before becoming an established champion? Eala said almost nothing publicly. She trained. She signed autographs. She practiced on clay. She kept working. And somewhere inside Nike headquarters, executives prepared for the possibility that one match at Roland Garros could accelerate the entire strategy. Because if Eala won while wearing Philippine-coded apparel on one of the biggest stages in sports, the implications would ripple far beyond tennis. Every sponsor would reconsider regional branding. Every tournament would reconsider diaspora marketing. Every apparel company would reconsider generic kits. And every young athlete from overlooked countries would suddenly see a different possibility. Not assimilation. Representation. That is why the Sampaguita matters. Not because it is beautiful. Because it is specific. And specificity is becoming power. The old model of sports marketing asked athletes to become globally neutral. Alex Eala is becoming globally Filipino. That is the revolution Nike appears to understand before everyone else. And standing on the red clay of Roland Garros, wearing a flower stitched into fabric thousands of miles from home, the 21-year-old from Quezon City carried something much larger than expectations. She carried proof that the future of tennis branding may no longer belong to the players who fit the system best.